Joining me live now is Nationals MP Barnaby Joyce from the Canberra studio. Barnaby, great to see you. Wow, could you quite believe it when this news came through this morning?
Well, I welcome it, and I'll stay consistent in my line here. It's an issue that goes beyond Mr Assange. It's about extraterritoriality. It's about an issue about an Australian citizen who did not commit a crime in Australia, was not a US citizen, but had the prospect of going to the United States for a long period in jail. Now, take out the name Julian Assange and put in Laura J's, put in your daughter or your son's name, and then ask the question, what would you expect Australian legislators to do? Now, at the very start, we have to be incredibly careful because Mr Assange, this process does look very encouraging, but it's not complete. And so we have to be very careful what we say. But in the meantime, I'd think a big thank you to other people that you're not aware of, such as Congressman Massey, who's a Republican in the United States, to Congressman McGovern from the Democrats, from people on both sides, from Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene from the far right, Congressman Omar from the far left. They also were very much part of this, a huge effort by Gabrielle Shipton, Julian Assange's half-brother and, of course, Julian's father. And on the Australian side, the Australian delegation, really calm, cool heads like Tony Zappia from the Labor Party, Senator Wish Wilson from the Greens, Senator Antic from the Liberal Party, Senator Shoebridge from the Teals. We had a cross-party delegation, and I don't think there was anything that was extreme or inflammatory, and that also did this little bit to help. Obviously, Jen and the legal team have done so much, and I'd also like to commend the fact that in Australia we had both the Prime Minister and the Leader of the Opposition on a unity ticket, that this, for whatever purpose, they all maybe came in it from different directions. A lot of people said, this has gone on too long. This individual has been in Belmarsh solitary confinement for 5 years. That means 23 hours a day in a cell and one day out. And prior to that, he was basically incarcerated in the Ecuadorian embassy. So everybody's coming at it from different directions, but we all want to land in the same place and bring this to a conclusion, because between the United States of America and Australia, we have bigger fish to fry. And we need to clear the decks of this issue. Yeah,
look, I know you're very cautious, but I'm going to bank this one. Julian Assange left the UK 7 hours ago on a private jet. He is not headed to the United States. He is headed home here to Australia. And for the best we can ascertain at the moment, his plane is over India, Barnaby. So he might soon land in Bangkok and then we'll be home to Australia. This vision that you're seeing there on our screen, this is vision from WikiLeaks that they've released in just the last couple of moments, and it shows Julian Assange getting onto this plane. You wouldn't have seen that because you've just come out of the party room meeting, but he looks remarkably well. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, he seems to be a very resilient individual.
Doesn't he?
I'm going through the details like we all are, and I see that in this plea deal is a felony charge, and a felony charge has to be heard on United States soil. I think they're looking at Saipan for it. And that's only what I read. Okay, so it's not a misdemeanor. It'll be a felony charge plea deal. And so, we still have to be, you don't start cheering in a 1,500 metre race on the second and a half lap. You get to the end and then look to the crowd. And we are not at the end of this just yet. But we are well positioned, and I just want it to conclude, and then we can move on to other things. And and also Andrew Wilkie, of course, so many years, and George Christensen. This is the sort of the group of people from the extremities of Australian politics that was involved in this, and we all want to see it come to a conclusion. And I commend so many of my colleagues across this Parliament for their work over many years.
Indeed, Barnaby, those politicians have long left the parliament, some of them as well. So this is how long this campaign has been going on for, and a campaign directed at our closest ally, the United States. So, look, this can be the necessity for it to be delicate is certainly there. You were, and we've been showing vision of this. You were on a delegation with the likes of Monique Ryan, other crossbenchers to Washington. How long ago was that?
That was within the year, and that was really a culmination. And that was money privately raised. We didn't go over on the taxpayer's ticket, just so people know. It was money privately raised, and we've got a very good hearing on Capitol Hill. And I just want to, that's the sort of effort that's gone into this, and this is why there are so many people who were part of this process, and they all need to be commended for also the sober and practical way they went there. You could have had a delegation that went there and caused more problems than they ever assisted, but that was never the case. And what we managed to get was a very good hearing from very senior operators on Capitol Hill in Washington, and I'm absolutely certain that was not the reason, but of great assistance in the process, because they sent a letter to the president that was signed off by both people on both sides of the aisle and a huge range of people on both sides of the aisle. And so, we have to also acknowledge that this was, so many of them said, is this thing still going? It should be resolved. It should be over. Just so people know, Mr Assange never stole anything from the United States. It was a person who at that time was Bradley Manning, now Chelsea Manning. I don't think he was even the first person to publish it. That was Cryptomania was the first person to publish it. I think a gentleman by the name of Doyle. It just made sense that this Australian citizen, as once more, if someone said what he did, was it morally right? No, I don't believe so. Do you agree with what he did? No, I don't. But that is not, for me, and in my part of this debate, the issue. The issue was extraterritoriality, and I don't want Australians heading off to Saudi, Riyadh because they offend the Quran, or to Beijing because they offend the Chinese Communist Party, or the United States of America because of an issue that is pertinent to the United States of America but was not illegal in Australia. Yep.
Barnaby, thank you. And it was not you alone who had that absolute clarity on that particular issue. We thank you for your time today. We'll see you soon.
My pleasure.